Okay, really quick post-viewing lecture on Psycho. Do not watch this. Don't listen to me unless you've watched the movie. Yes, just like Fight Club. Oh my God, they're the same people. This is perhaps previewing Fight Club a little bit. So if you're interested in the relationship between Jack and Tyler, and then Norma and Norman Bates, something to think about. But I would argue here, there's much more to analyze regarding Norma and Norman. On one level, the way the film presents itself, Norman Bates is dead. He was murdered by his mother's psychology years ago. Think about that metaphor. Somehow, I've been so indoctrinated by my mother that she actually exists inside of my head, and I'm this murdered little kid in the corner. So the film is, I think, actually some pretty provocative questions. I think more provocative than Fight Club in terms of the relationship between self and other and how that sort of works. So I wanted to throw that out there to say, go ahead and talk about Norma and Norman if you want, but please, if you do, try to figure out what you think that might mean. What ideas might the film be asking us to think about regarding psychology, identity, family, growing up, etc., by this conversation of the way the psychiatrist explains it. Norma Bates is kind of alive inside of Norman Bates. And the only place that Norma Bates exists is in Norman Bates' beliefs, understandings, perspectives. A little bit more of an idea about this. I mean, you ever thought about this? This idea that the person in front of you, it could be your brother, your mother, your wife, your husband, whatever. What they are to you in large part is the way you perceive them. So you have an avatar of them in your head, a version of them in your head. And a lot of times it's hopefully accurate. But a lot of other times, it's our own fears and insecurities that, and desires, whatever else, that shape how we see that person. So it's possible that we never actually see that person at all. We only see the vision of them that we think we want or we need, etc. So for example, if I have a friend who thinks that everybody hates him, he's just the worst person ever, and no one's ever nice to him. And I go up to him like, dude, I love you, you're awesome, here's $1 million and a cup of cocoa. His response might be, F you, man, why are you making me feel bad? And it's like, I was trying to be utterly sweet and help you out and give you some cool stuff. But because his psychology is so framed a certain way, he can't perceive it the way it was intended. I think Psycho is asking us to think about how are we all like that in one way or another. Now that you've seen the film, this is a film about miscommunication. No one in this movie is making sense to anyone else in this movie, ever. They are always arguing their own point of view, and very seldom is there a sense of, oh, I get that, that makes sense, and have it actually mean authentically, yes, that made sense. So if you're interested in this sort of thing, you're interested in talking about are both Norman and Norma Bates alive or dead? Is Norman Bates dead? And the only version of Norma Bates who lives is the way in which a young boy perceived his mother to be, right? What version of yourself is still alive? Maybe another way to think about that. Think about who you were at 12 years old and how your parents or your brother or a friend of yours saw you at 12 years old. Would it kind of suck if they still saw you the same exact way 20 years later, 10 years later, etc.? The film's asking us to think about that a little bit. Is Norman Bates as an adult nothing more than the way his young boy mind perceived his mother to have perceived him? So we can keep going with sort of awkward questions like that. But have some fun with it, see where you go. Or again, you can ignore this little tiny mini lecture entirely and talk about something completely different in Psycho. Take care.